friends. This is Julie, the Screen Porch Stitcher. Welcome to episode number 2, take 2. Thank you so much, those of you who watched my premiere or pilot, my first episode. I appreciate you stopping by to check in and come back for number 2. This is a Flosstube about cross stitching and potentially some other crafty endeavors along the way as well. I do want to thank Contented Needleworker Kim for the shout out. Much appreciated. It's really special, especially when it's somebody you've been watching for years and it's your first Flosstube. So thank you so much. And anybody else, if you've shouted me out and I haven't heard yet, thank you so much. It has been a little more than a month, more than I anticipated coming back, but it's summer. It's been crazy and school starts in just over 3 weeks, which is just wild to think about. I am in the Chicago burbs, in the western burbs. So yes, we are getting back to school so we can get out before Memorial Day. And so high schoolers can have their finals before the winter break. I think that's part of why we start, what some say, early. Again, thank you for coming back. I did want to share with you some of the whips, my works in progress. I do have one finished object. I also have a fully finished object that I forgot to bring with me, but it's on my Instagram. My daughter had purchased a Wooble kit and started it, did about the first 70 stitches and gave up. So I did finish it for her, and it was the second time in my life I've crocheted, and it was really fun. The video instructions were very well done, I felt, and I would definitely tempted to add crocheting into my pocket as another craft to continue. As we start, I wanted to first show you some items that are usually on my mantle back here for the season. The first items I have here, these are hands-on design Perennial. Oh my, I just lost the name, I'm sorry. Perennial Pinwheels. So there are 3 for each season. This is summer. This is the trim and the pins that were extras that you could purchase to match along. Everything is as called for. The fabric, I believe, is chocolate milk or milk chocolate by Fabrics by Stephanie. I did purchase this when it first came out with all the fabric and coordinating trims and pins, and this is just a really fun one to stitch up and finish. And really the finishing's not terrible. They have just a real simple white background on each of these. I do have all 4 seasons finished. The only one I don't have fully finished yet is a winter, and I need to get on that because I would like to display it this year. This is my little dough bowl that is usually up behind me there. This is by Rosa. This is actually a freebie. This is a really nice freebie she has. It's Patriotic Strawberry. If you Google Rosa Designs and Patriotic Strawberry, this is the first strawberry I ever finished. I did this on Picture This Plus Heroic. I had a small leftover piece. I know it's hard to see. You can see some of the red here. There's some beautiful reds and blues within for modeling. And then followed Helen D for some ideas on how to do some toppers. It's not fabulous, but it's my first one and it was a lot of fun. This is another freebie. This is from Fox and Rabbit, and I want to say it's Cranberry Christmas. I keep this out all year because our last name does start with a C. We also have With Thy Needle and Threads Holiday Hoopla. And this is the 4th of July Hoopla. I did use the whisper threads here. This was a lot of fun to stitch and to finish. I did it on, I believe, a 36, I believe it's on a 36 count. So instead of the normal 4-inch hoop, I do have this in a 3-inch hoop. and have some cute Patriotic trims to match along with that. And the next one is also with Thy Needle and Thread, and this is from her Seasons of the Heart book. I did do the little summer here. I initially intended to go all the way across, but I had a little counting error and decided that this is what was meant to be then. So these are a lot of fun, and I have these for each season. I have not finished fall and winter. I have spring and summer. This one is stuffed with sawdust, and I've come to find that I actually prefer sawdust or walnut shells for stuffing to any fiber fills. This is Plum Street Samplers, Paulette Stewart. I opted for no trim on this one. It didn't need it. This house was, you know, Paulette houses, but this is a mini, so this house was really fun. I think it's just the color and seeing how the variegation came through. I really appreciated that. So this is Bless Our Land by Plum Street Samplers. So that's my little dough bowl for the Patriotic season. It's funny, when in watching some other Flosstubes, you know how we all have our own little jargon, or we come up with our catchphrases or little vocabulary, like we have an inventory of linen, you know, we don't have a hoard, we stash it away. We have an inventory or a library of linen. I was watching As the Whip Turns this last week, and she had a cute little phrase, that her floss forecast, and I thought that was really sweet. A floss forecast is what she says for her plans. So I thought that was a lot of fun. Go ahead and start on my whips. I am looking down at notes, so please forgive me. I have things written down that I'd like to remember or that I forget. So this is from the Farmgirl Dry Goods Spring Retreat, Paulette Stewart, Plum Street Samplers, Every Gift. This will be coming out next year as an exclusive through Farmgirl Dry Goods. So if you haven't gotten it, if you haven't found it on a stash unload, hang on, it'll be coming in a year. This is how far I've gotten. I was talking last time, I might not do the border. I'm not doing the border. This beautiful flower, and the leaves, there is some major counting error in there, and I'm not doing the border, and it's actually going to be just fine. But it's so much fun. The colors are just so brilliant, and so beautiful. And this is, and I have my lovely flamingo from my friend. These are the brilliant, beautiful colors that Paulette got. They're not beautifully together, but that's okay. Super fun. It's really fun. But that flower, it's been sitting aside for a little while because I have a special project I've been working on. I'll show you. And because that flower was a bugger. Some of you like to see bags, so I will show those along the way as I have them. I do have this next one I have in a bag, but I don't know whose bag this is. There's no tag on it. This is beautiful. This next one is Manor at Swan Lake sorry for the crinkle, by With Thy Needle and Thread. This was a summer stitch camp at Country Sampler last year. And these are the flosses, a pure Brenda palette. And I did a little more work on this one. Did a little more on the swans and the house. And that house with the variegation, it's just so much fun. Again, it's just fun. I finished. I got all my windows framed out. I filled in up here. I'm gonna fold this over a little more. Really, the house is where I worked on the most. And that's just, I love watching this variegation come out. This is a cognac. Is it cognac? Cognac by Weeks Dye Works. And it's just, what I do, everybody does houses and roofs differently. What I try and do when I'm using a variegated floss, I will typically go anywhere from 7 to maybe 12 stitches across and then back, and just do blocks of that up and down, just to try and keep the variegation so it's not super stripy, but so it's more blocked off and sectioned off. So like you can see a block of darker orange here and rusty, and that's because of the way that I am blocking out these sections. And the same I do for the roof. You can see, you can probably tell areas where like I've done maybe 10 stitches across, groups of 10 stitches across. So you see the darker areas are kind of concentrated. And it's something that I found that I like to provide a little consistency, not super stripy, and to keep things where they, in a nice way. My next project, this is a So Much to Love bag. I absolutely love this green dahlias fabric. This is from several years ago. So this next one is a Plum Street. And this is this Joyous season. And these are the beautiful fibers for that. And I've had the house done for quite a while. I am working mostly on finishing the snow and the snowflakes at the bottom, and then also like all the fill-in. Then I have the fill-in of all the final trees, and little snowflakes all around. So that's the, I intend to have it done this year and framed for the Christmas season. I was going to do it and get it finished for Jolly July. That was something I intended to do. And then I started working on another project that I'll be showing you that has priority because it needs to be finished ASAP. The next project I have, let's see, this one I did nothing on. That doesn't count. This is a Mama Joan bag with, I believe this is a Charles Wasaki. Just, it reminds me of retreats at Shipshawana that I've gone to in the past. Another Plum Street, gee, surprise. This is the one I'm doing with a group of friends. Okay, friends. You know when you go out on your own and you decide to change colors and you think, sure, this is gonna be easy, no problem. I'll even test. I did a test strip. This is my test strip. I decided to, I told you last time, I decided to change the main house, right? So this is my test strip of a bunch of different colors. I've got St. Bernard, I've got Honey Bunny, I've got Taupe, I've got Seagull. I fully intended to do Seagull for the middle house. But the coloring just, it didn't work out. Didn't do what I wanted. So then I said, I'm doing Bunny Honey. I like the cream, I really like it, but it did not look well against the windows, some of which I already had stitched, and I really liked it. And in the side house, they were surrounded. I didn't want to take them out, and I wanted them all to match. So I took it all out. So now, I'll show you just this half. This is where we are. I am happy with my choice. This is St. Bernard by Classic Colorworks. I actually had it in another project, and I can't remember which one it was used for. It's very possible it was in Spring Moon, maybe? But I really like how this is turning out. I really do. It's better than planned. I like there's a taupe. The windowsills are in a taupe by Weeks Dye Works. And if I hadn't had these all done, I might have actually done that for the main house. So now that I'm happy with my main house choice, I can get to work on that. Okay, my next project, this is my special project, is in a very fancy plastic bag. I know. This is another where I changed choices. I got this pattern on Etsy. Oh, shame on me. I will put it in the little information section below because I didn't write down her shop, and I don't have a non-pattern picture I can show you. I started, their house is, they just bought a house. This is for my niece and her fiance who are getting married soon. And their house is, they just bought a house with mostly grays and whites. So I started this. Their last name also starts with a C. How convenient. So this is going to have a C. It'll have their name in the middle, their wedding date, and some more flourishes. This is a 28 count Confederate gray. I don't love 28 count, but I didn't want it to be small. I was at Tomorrow's Heirlooms and I had actually picked out this 36 count Zweigart Silver Moon linen. This is not coming over as well as I thought, but to me it was a little browner than I wanted, than gray. But I started stitching on this one and I said, all right, let's just see what it is like in here. So I started on this one. And I've got to be honest, when I just put the C in, I wasn't thrilled. It just didn't do it for me. Sorry, I'm searching for my flosses. Carriage Black is the gray that I've been using, and you can see it's kind of got a little purple undertone. On this one, I'm using Belle Swan icing, which is beautiful to work with. Well, let me tell you, once I added Gentle Arts glass slipper to this for the like filigree, the beautiful, what would you like to call this? The beautiful decorative area, I was sold. That's it. Her wedding colors are like a burgundy and a dusty pink, so I'm gonna pick one of those to put their last name here. And then under that right here will go their wedding date, and then another set of this decorative section. So I have, it's not that hard. I can get this done in a couple days, not a problem. But I decided that, and this won't go to waste. I can use this in our house too. So I'm excited about that because that'll be finished by the end of the week. Another work in progress I'm working on in another plastic bag is the Primrose Cottage Freebie Friday, July 4th in the round. I did not get it finished for 4th of July. I was really hoping to. The colors I'm using are Weeks Dye Works Grits, Classic Colorworks Used Brick, and Classic Colorworks Milady's Teal. Because it's a lighter fabric, I almost wish I would have used a darker blue, but I do like how this is turning out. I put a little T up here so I know it's the top since it's the same all around, so I'm not stitching the wrong direction. So here's how I am. I'm not that far off. I don't have much to finish. It will be done for next year. But if you've seen my pile of finished objects, you might laugh and say, sure, Julie, sure. My last whip that I have that I've been working on is from Blackbird Designs Ooh La La book, and I am very close to a finish. I think I haven't finished it in part because it's just a fun stitch to pick up. This is 36 count Sleeping Bear by Needle and Flax, and the floss I am using is Weeks Dye Works Baked Apple. This is a little bit French in the Blackbird Designs book. And it's so fun. I am gonna make it into a pin roll. I actually got some velveteen to put on the ends. That's part of my haul. This is Lady Dye Works Berry Crush, and I think this will actually work pretty well. It's just gonna be a little bit on each end. So that is all for my whips. I do have one finished object. It's very exciting. This is also on the 36 count Sleeping Bear by Needle and Flax. And this is also from the Ooh La La book, and this is Spring Green. Last time I was debating whether to write Spring Green or do something different here. I did opt to do Spring Green. I also opted to put my first and last initial. Had I known I was going to do that initially, I would have moved this over a little more. This alphabet is in the Ooh La La book, but I really, really like how it turned out. So I'm looking forward to turning that into a pillow for a little dough bowl, either here or on my piano. I have some haul. I know I said I don't get much. I really don't. But I did this. I'm in the Crazy Annie's Club, the Annie Bees, for the Nutcracker ornaments for the year. So this is this last installment, the Nutcracker Forever. This is Waltz of the Flowers. And these are so adorable. I am not going to be doing them on the perforated paper. I do have the little like stamp wood backings that I will be using, but I'm planning to do these on linen. But I'm really I haven't started, but I am excited to work on that. When I was at Tomorrow's Heirlooms getting fabric and fibers for my niece's wedding sampler, I picked up My Dear Heart by Blackbird Designs. And that's because I really want to do this heart. I keep seeing number 12 Stitch Co. has the kits. And I said, well, I'm not going to buy the kit if I don't have the pattern. So now I can buy it. In watching the attic needlework, a couple episodes ago, Carolyn had done the Pink Sparrow sampler with Thy Needle and Thread with silks, and beautiful. I love, absolutely beautiful. And I have the pattern, I have the fabric. I just haven't started, but I'm probably going to change the fabric. I don't remember what fabric, but it's not the called for that I put aside for it. So I reached out to the attic and I got her floss pack, her silk floss pack. So I am looking forward to that as a start in the near future. Exciting. All right, 2 more bags. Both by House of Stitch and Stash, because Rika knows how to make a beautiful bag, folks. I have a couple of her very early versions with the handle, and I keep a lot of my Plum Street whips in one, and my sampler's not forgotten in the other. They're big enough they can hold several charts and fully kitted. But I'm really excited to put these to use. Actually, this one will be holding Pink Sparrow sampler for now. So then the last thing I bought, I got a bunch of blue trim from Lady Dot. You know how sometimes you just don't trust your screen. Like, okay, those are nice, but is it really gonna match? So this is a Plum Street that I want to finish with some trim. I think I'm gonna put another board behind it so it can hang up. And I thought, looking at the screen, that this robin egg would be the best, and it is, but I just didn't want to trust that screen judgment. So I know that I'll be able to use these for some others in the future. This is Polar Ice and Rainy. They're all beautiful blues, but you know what? Everything is just so slightly different. So slightly different. So you just never know. I have not worked on my Tudor Rose Guild, Sampler Guild piece. So I need to work on that. But really this week, my priority is the wedding sampler for my niece, because that's coming up really fast. And really, I think stitching it's gonna fly. I had to actually chart out their name. That came with an alphabet. I had to chart out their name and their wedding date. So I did that. I feel comfortable with that. I double checked how many stitches I actually have on the piece just in case I was off, and made sure that I'm getting everything centered. So I'm really excited about that. I will definitely share that before I send that off to her. Unfortunately, my daughter and I aren't going to make it to her wedding. So my husband will be taking that to her. Who have I been watching? Other Flosstubes. A lot. It's been 5.5 weeks since I saw you, so there are really a lot, probably too many to mention. Contented needle worker Kim, I told you, I absolutely love her. Love her. She's one of the first Flosstubes that I watched, probably one of the first 10. Mrs. Smith Stitches. She's hilarious. She's very fun to watch. I love hearing her stories. Mrs. Jones Stitches, Holly Jones. Mama Loves You, GB. Sarah Stitchy Spot. Stitch Bead. Stitch and Gem. Cynthia Brew. She's on there as Stitching in the Light. Sweetwater Stitcher. Stitch Roadie. Rika from House of Stitch and Stash has a new one. Of course, Attic Needlework. So that's just a small sampling. And I usually watch my Flosstube when I'm stitching, or when I'm doing dishes or cleaning the kitchen, those kinds of things. I like to have that on in the background, and I know I can always peek over and look at and see what's coming. So really right now, my biggest thing is working on and finishing the wedding sampler. I do plan to be back again in about a month. So mid-August, probably right after school has started for us. You know what, there's some Flosstube extras I've been thinking about. A whip parade, which is very popular this time of year. A kit parade. I don't know if anybody's interested in that. Or finished object parade with all these lovely finished objects. This is more finished than most of them that aren't fully finished yet. So if that's something you're interested, if you let me know in the comments which one of those piques your interest the most, and that would be just an extra, probably coming up in early fall would be my bet. That will probably be the earliest I'll be able to do that. Again, I thank you for using your time to share some time with me and my stitching. I really enjoy seeing what others are doing, and I'm enjoying sharing my stitchy time with you. I'm also on Instagram at the Screen Porch Stitcher. It's been a little muggy to stitch out there, but I've been getting out there a little bit. So may your needles bring you joy, and the frog stay in his pond. Thanks again for watching.